Cris Carter and Chad Johnson. But first, right? First, I want to put everyone in the position of the general manager of an NFL team, right? And your team needs a number one receiver on offense. You, as the general manager, have to take a receiver with your first round selection. The options at receiver are obviously Cris Carter and Chad Johnson. Here are the measurements. Cris Carter is 6'3", 200 pounds. Chad Johnson is standing at 6'1", 190 pounds. Cris Carter runs a 4.63 in the 40-yard dash, and Chad Johnson runs a 4.57 in the 40-yard dash. Your evaluation comes from their careers in NFL. What you think of them as a player, right? You evaluate them in the NFL as if it was college, and then you got to make your selection. What Chad and Cris did in the NFL careers is what we use to make a decision. Who are you selecting with your first pick in the draft? Cris Carter or Chad Johnson? Now check this out, man. I've been doing some digging and some researching, right? Been checking things out. And Cris Carter, this is Cris Carter before the draft. 4.63 in the 40-yard dash, right? I already said he was 6'3", 200 pounds. Career stats, 1,100 receptions, almost 14,000 yards receiving, and that special number, 130 touchdowns. Yes, that is a big number and is a hell of an achievement. In 1987, Carter ran just slightly faster than the average receiver at the time, according to former Cowboys personnel, Gil Braddock. That's both a comment on how much faster wideouts have become. 40-yard dash time for receivers rose to 4.48 seconds as of 2013. And how little long speed had to do with Cris Carter's success in the NFL. All right, so to give Cris Carter credit, the 4.63 back in his days in 1987 was a little bit faster than the other receivers. Okay, the NFL was still developing and figuring things out. Now, we got Chad Ochocinco. Chad Johnson, 4.57 in the 40-yard dash. Career stats, 766 receptions, 11,000 receiving yards, 67 touchdowns. We know Cris Carter played like 16, 17 years. Chad Johnson played, I think, 11 years. Another stellar wideout who fell out of the first round because of a slow workout. The Bengals knew Johnson was much faster than the close to 4.6 he posted at the 40 due to his tape and displays of quickness at the 2001 Senior Bowl. One of the game's elite pass catches between 2002 and 2007. Johnson developed his route running and timing with quarterback Carson Palmer to put together one of the best 5-year stretches in league's history. Y'all hear that? One of the best 5-year stretches in league history. I didn't say that. I didn't write that. That's just the facts, right? So that's what we're talking about. Now, I can't lie to y'all. You tell me, Dries. You tell me if any of these things you hear doesn't resonate well with you, or you may assume something. Because me, myself, I thought or assumed Chad was a 4.4 guy.
I did too. I saw that speed. It kind of surprised me. I didn't think it was that slow. I mean, but a lot of times the 40 is technique. You run I see a lot of guys that got better technique, but I know people that's way faster than them. You know what I mean on that 40. So that could be the thing. I mean, he probably had that good technique on the 40 and messed it up, made it slow. That happens all the time.
Exactly.
You know guys that work out good as hell, but you put them on the field, they lost.
Right. So what you're saying, basically what you're saying is, like I said, there's no way I can see Chad as a 4.6 guy, because he doesn't play like he runs a 4.6. He plays like he runs 4.3, 4.4, right? It's that football speed. Some people have off the field speed, and some people has that speed on the field, right? But think about what type of offense would you run, right? And how you would use either receiver. This is the debate. I want to see which player you would select, Chad Johnson or Cris Johnson. Y'all put it in your comment, or when y'all see this video.
I'm seeing more Chads. I'm seeing more Chads right now.
You seeing more Chads? All right.
I'm seeing more Chads.
Yeah, we're gonna get it, right? And think about it. Think about it, right? When I debate about these players, right? When I debate about these two players, I like to keep the off the field drama out of these debates and base it solely on the player's performance on the field. So these two players, hell of a players in their career, hell of a players. But if you had the number one pick and you had to take a wide receiver or your number one pick in the first round and you are obligated to take a wide receiver, are you taking Cris Carter or are you taking Chad Johnson? Dries, what are you taking? Who are you taking?
Man, listen, I'm gonna be a little biased, man. I grew up watching Chad, so I gotta say Chad, man. I watched him like day in and day out. I didn't really watch Cris Carter. He a little bit before my time, so I'm gonna be a little bit biased, man. I got to stick with Chad, man. He changed the game, just not on the field, but in the entertainment wise as well, too, man. So you see him out there cook somebody, send him and that's before social media was big, man. But you know that Chad Johnson would say yes, talk shit some way. He made it way more entertaining and didn't go out there in the field perform. So I mean, you played against him, man. you know.
Hey, like you say, hands down, Chad got it in the entertainment part of this debate. Chad Johnson, one of the best entertainers in football, you know, as a wide receiver, he always entertained. And so that means he's gonna sell more tickets than Cris Carter. You're gonna come to watch Chad Johnson play. Are you going to turn on the TV and watch Chad Johnson play before you watch Cris Carter? I'm just saying, you know, I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. But, you know, at the end of the day, I wouldn't have brought this upon the audience and the NFL community. But some people are arrogant than others. Some people are just arrogant to the roof. And maybe Cris Carter is one of those people. Because this was a foolish take that he put out, and it was unwarranted. I don't know what Chad did to make Cris Carter spaz out on him, but I want y'all to listen and hear what got Cris Carter so riled up and made him go after Chad Johnson. But check it out.
Receiver, he is also an official Madden ratings adjuster. This is your chance to tell Chad what you should enter the league with when it comes to your rating.
If I ain't at 85 and above, we're going to be, see that trophy right there?
Yeah,
like
I saw that one,
we're going to have the 1v1 for it.
Oh, but listen.
We're going to have the 1v1 for it, and when I beat him, I better be a 99.
You say 1v1 me, like where you put on cleats and not put on cleats, and you think you can try and cover me? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
And we're going to do it, and we're going to do it for your Heisman. So after I route you up, I get to take your Heisman for a year.
Oh my God.
Come on. Listen, the best I could do for you as a rookie coming into the league, I give you a 76. A 76.
A 76.
A 76. Now, this is the thing. We'll do 10 routes. I promise you, we'll do 10 routes. If you could stop me on one of 10, just one. You want to stop me on one of 10 routes, I promise you I'll give you a 90 as a rookie.
I'm so confused. This is what got Cris Carter going. This is what made him go off so bad. Dries, what do you see in there that can have tipped Cris Carter off? What made Cris? He had to have some beef with Chad Johnson. He didn't like his style. He didn't like the way he celebrated. Maybe he took his girlfriend, his side piece. Something had to happen for Cris Carter to attack Chad Johnson like this. Cris Carter, what happened? Talk to us. Did he take your side piece? All of our side pieces have been taken before. That happened. That's a part of the game, baby. Your side piece, they're there for a little while and then they leave. That's what happens, brother. Chad, give him his side piece back, brother, because I don't understand why this man decided to attack you for nothing. You know, it was crazy. But back to the debate, man. Back to the debate, right? And most of the comments from, you know, the video that I put up between Cris Carter and Chad Johnson, you know, all the old heads, like you say, all the old heads, they screaming about Cris Carter and 130 touchdowns. Yeah, which is fair. I don't deny that, right? You know, I think that is a hell of an accomplishment, right? But I don't think most of Cris Carter touchdowns were 20 yards or better. Maybe they were 10 yards and under. Does that make a difference? You know, can you catch a bunch of 5-yard touchdowns and that solidifies your argument? Not to me. Not to me.
Man, that's almost double, though. That's almost double. I mean, 67 to that's almost double his touchdowns. Oh, they got an argument right there.
A hell of an argument, and you're 100% right. But when you're talking to me, Asante, Mr. Pick Six Samuel, I dig a little deeper. Like I said, are these touchdowns 20 yards or better, or are they a bunch of 5-yard, 10-yard touchdowns? Touchdown is the touchdown, but if they're 5-yard and 6-yard touchdowns, how much credit do you really want from that? All right, yeah, we give you the credit, whatever. How many explosive 50-yard touchdowns does Cris Carter have? Who was the more explosive player at receiver? And was it by much? They both looked like they didn't have no technique running the 40 back. Back in the days, the 40-yard dash was still developing and people were still learning the technique and how to maneuver, you know what I mean? But who was the more explosive player? Both receivers were really good with releases against press coverage, you know what I mean? And it seems like Chad may be quicker, slightly quicker, and has more quick twitch muscles, and things like that. But Cris Carter, I'm going to give Cris Carter his credit. We don't take nothing from no one. Cris Carter was definitely quick. His quickness was deceiving, and his quickness was at the line of scrimmage, just like Chad, against press coverage. He was really good, and he was a technician against press coverage. But after press coverage, there wasn't much acceleration of speed down the field after that. That's just being real. So he knew how to set guys up in press coverage and do his thing, But listen, I respect Cris Carter. I respect Cris Carter's story and him overcoming addiction, things like that. But I don't respect his hot takes,